Hey everybody, I'm back. I finished airbrushing this last night, and after it dried out, I gave it a coat of Future. Whenever I'm airbrushing, usually I'll coat it in Future, especially like if I was doing the gray and green camouflage, I would coat it in Future. That way, when I put tape down on it, I don't accidentally pull off this finish underneath, or what would be underneath, but this way I'm able to handle the model more, do stuff to it, and not have to worry about damaging the paint, you know. So it went pretty well. I did run into an issue though, a big issue. I wasn't getting any pressure, and my airbrush quit. The compressor just died. I was really shocked. So I have to go compressor hunting, try and find something new, which I have been wanting to do for a while. So I got that to look forward to. That was very depressing. But I don't know what happened. I gave it a good kick, I guess, and it got working again. And yeah, I was able to airbrush. The paint was a little too thin, but yeah, I had the control and I was able to airbrush away. And nothing was wrong with the airbrush. Airbrush worked perfectly fine. Still have no idea how that paint got there. That blue paint got in the back, as you know, never happened before. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this. It's a good looking color. It doesn't look like I painted it. The only difference you can see is right here. It still basically looks like the color of the plastic, so that's a little bit of a downside. Um, Here's the windows, and they turned out pretty good, I think. I hope. I'm gonna take those apart later. And what else is there to do? The next step for me on this is I'm going to cut out some maskings around the wheel wells in here so I can airbrush this all metallic blue. Yeah, that's about it. That's the next step that needs to be done to get that to look real nice. That won't be too difficult to do. My only concern about airbrushing that is that blue flecks will fly everywhere, because it does that when I airbrush chrome. So I'll have to take my time on that. So I thought I'd show for the next part of the video how to remove these maskings, because you do have to know what you're doing. I'm going to use a hobby knife, I'm going to use these tweezers, and this toothpick. Now, if you're painting this on, I painted this on in light coats, very, very light coats. I just kind of misted it over in passing till I got a very dark uniform frame in there. Because what happens if you paint it on really thick, it can go under the paint, under the tape panels, and then it builds up, and you can, when you remove the tape, you can remove the paint with it, and that's what you don't want. So what I'm going to do is just take my knife and stuff it under a corner here. And I don't want to use the knife too much. I don't want to use any of this too much because you might scratch the paint off. And so peel it off, peel it from each corner very slowly. Like that. There's one window. So let's do another one here. So I just need a little flap of it. Peel that corner. That corner. And let's move move on to the front. Ginger, would you cut that out, you goofy dog? Yeah, you. Dogs. It is so cold out today. So cold. My relatives back in Germany are telling me how nice it is over there. It's not fair. We got a new cold spell today, or this week. And I'm not enjoying it. It actually made me a little nervous about coating the model in future. I thought it might be too cold in the air for it to work. And it might, you know, freeze or crystallize or something like that. It didn't happen, thankfully. I think the future was working pretty quick. So I'm glad that happened. I didn't have to worry about that. Now let's take this. This is looking really cool. And I can see why so many modelers like to prefer to buy these things. Because it really makes the model look great once you get them all off. So what you have to be really careful of is not scratching the window. That's probably my biggest concern. But look at that. I'm really happy with that. That looks really cool. So if I do find any places, I'm in a way hoping I find a place where the paint went through, just so I can, you know, demonstrate it. All you need to do, and I learned this from Rob at Basic Modeling years ago. He showed me how to do this on one of his videos. To clean up clear parts, you let the paint dry, and you take a toothpick and scratch it off. However, I have learned don't let the paint dry too much. Otherwise, you'll make a nice little cloud in the window from buffing the tape too much. I have done that. I was really like, that's not supposed to happen. But yeah, this is gonna be a more boring video of me just removing this. So okay. Almost there. It's looking pretty darn good so far. I'm quite pleased. I did have one area when I airbrushed where the tape did pop up, but it wasn't anything, you know, really bad. I kinda caught it before it happened, and it was only just a little bit of paint on it. One of the things I didn't mention in the video about micromask, the blue stuff that you paint on, I said you can't use it on acrylics. What I meant to say is you can't put it on top of acrylics. You can use it, like I could put it on here and then spray acrylic on it. You can do that, but you can't put it on acrylics. It will dilute the colors. Apparently it has ammonia in it, and that will eat up the acrylic, of course. Yep, there's the little bit. I can just see it. It's so tiny and insignificant. But all I'm going to do is just take this and carefully clean it away. So like that. So we're now coming up to my favorite part about this. So it's a little dirty because I've had my fingers in it, obviously. Now you can take this, it's all done, you can dip it in Future and preserve the paint on there. This is my favorite part. That looks so cool. And there it is. It's pretty simple to do. It does take a steady hand. It does take patience, and it does take a bit of practice, but there's a cutout and masked window, and I can see I can see all the details on the inside fairly clear. They look good. So I'm really happy with that. That turned out excellent. Okay. So one of the next things I'm going to do is I painted all of these, coated them in Future. This is all like the wheel covers and stuff like that. So all I'm going to do for these is just flip them around like this. Airbrush the blue on there. If these don't stick well enough, I'll just remove the tape, put new tape on there, and they seem to stay, seem to be pretty tight on there. But hopefully the air won't, blow them off. But if it does, like I said, you just put new tape down. And the nice thing about this is the bottom is covered, so I can just nicely airbrush all that stuff on there. So that'll work out. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you this really quick. I'm trying not to make these videos long anymore. Don't wanna bore anyone with the length of them. So I'm gonna just put this tape down here, like that. Kind of press with my nail around the edge like that. Okay. And so I'm going to do the same on the other side in a minute here, but I'm just going to take my knife and slowly cut around. To get this in frame. Sorry. And remember to use a sharp knife. Now I didn't have a long enough piece of tape for this to work properly. There, okay. Should have used a longer piece. So I'm just going to do that to the entire thing, put more tape around it, and then I can airbrush that blue, that nice metallic blue. So that's what I'm going to do next. And yeah, see you guys when I get there.